Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for your host, Nancy Coco.
Thank you, Walt. Okay, we are going to be doing an open mic with all of our lovely students from the comedy camp thingamabobber. Okay, cool. So we are going to be starting off with someone who has been here for quite a little bit, I think, probably. I totally know how to keep track of people. Give it up for Sam, everybody! Woohoo!
Hello. Yeah, I've been doing this for almost half my life now. So yeah, that's nice. Yeah, and so let's start. Disney, a company full of happiness, joy, and nightmares. Their mascot is Mickey Mouse, and I've been trying to perfect my accent. This was version 1, this was version 2, this was version 3, and this is version 4. I think version 4 is the one I'm going to stick with. And my friends were telling me that my accent is really creepy. I told them that Disney as a whole is kind of creepy. So let's start off with the basics. Pinocchio. Most people see it as a movie that is just about this doll who comes to life and keeps lying to people. In reality, it's much more complicated than that. So the movie is about this doll who gets abducted and starts drinking booze and smoking cigars, and then gets turned into a donkey to be sold off to slavery. And this is PG, by the way, very PG. I guess there's a very good lesson that kids can learn from this is don't lie to people or else you'll get kidnapped and they'll destroy an entire amusement park called Pleasure Island and then get turned into a donkey and then be sold as a slave. Very good lesson to tell people. He told me, well, it's just one movie. There's got to be nothing else about it. Well, of course there is. It's Disney. 101 Dalmatians. Now that movie, that's just straight animal abuse. So then he told me, well, those are 2 movies from a long time ago. Anything recent? Yes, of course there is. Walt Disney World, the happiest place on earth for the customers. The employees, not so much. You know those characters that are like running around taking pictures with people? It all seems really nice. For us, they're running around in super hot suits in 140-degree weather in the middle of Florida. Yeah, I'd love to take that job, and you're taking pictures of random kids. And I heard that apparently sometimes they don't even wash the costumes when they're giving it to different people. That's gross. And exactly, yeah, you're only doing it for minimum wage. And so he's like, okay, well, there's got to be no rides there that are actually bad. Well, of course there is. Superstar Limo. The entire ride, it's a dark ride where you just go around in this purple limo with Michael Eisner, the former CEO of Disney, just yelling at you the entire time, telling you, don't be late. So just trying to get somewhere. No wonder the ride only lasted a year. So there you have it. Disney is not the company you think it is. Thank you, that's my time.
All right, give it up for Sam, everybody! Da-da-da-da-da! Woo! Okay, awesome. Yeah, Disney is super weird, as are most corporations, but, capitalism. Anyways, next up, we have, I am checking the list because I totally am good at remembering things. Next up, we have Emmett. Woohoo! Give it up for Emmett, everybody!
Hi. So in New York, there are outdoor dining areas on the street. So people eat there and people serve them. It's from a restaurant and they just moved out into the street. And they are almost always full, which tells you a lot about the people in New York. They would risk their lives so they could eat food from a restaurant. They're like, sure, we have to go outside during a pandemic and take our masks off to eat, but I am so tired of my cooking. It's so bad. I just need actual good food. And so also another thing in quarantine, and mostly in New York, is elevators. they're being hard to use nowadays because like a lot of people have their own strict rules about how they want to use elevators. Like some people let anyone in if they want to in the elevator, which is nice. And less nice people don't let you in and they say just take the next one, which sounds really mean until you realize that you don't need to listen to them. Like you could just walk in the elevator and press lobby and they can't do anything about it besides give you a death stare. And a lot of people, when you're in the elevator and you're going down and it stops at a floor and they see you're in the elevator, they're like, oh, well, I'll take the next one. And that's okay. If you're okay with waiting for a long, if you're okay with waiting 15 minutes to get an elevator, because most of them are going to have at least one person in them. And something in the news lately was Kanye West is running for president, and people are like so confused about that. And I think I know exactly how it's going to go down. So it's going to be 2024. It's just going to be him and Taylor Swift. She's going to win. And during the inauguration, Kanye West is going to sneak up on stage and say how much more he deserves the award. And that's my time.
All right, give it up for Emmett. Da-da-da-dum. Singing literally everyone's name. Okay, awesome, cool. So next up, we have yet another student who has been here for quite a little while, and she is the one, the only Alice. Everyone is the one, the only. You are all special.
I am the one and only. So, I became a vegetarian, and vegetarians, one of the stereotypes about them is that they are picky about smells and stuff. And I have a real thing about smells. They're all true. All the stereotypes are true. And it's a real darn shame because I live in New York City, and when you're living in New York City, you have to spend about 80% of your time pretending that there's not a terrible smell nearby. There's like 20 square feet smack in the middle of Central Park where there's just pure fresh air. And the whole rest of America smells like that all the time, where we have this measly 20 square feet that 9 million of us have to fight over. I've ranked every single smell in New York City, except for the hidden ones. But I'm not going to share with you the whole list because that would take a long time. Let's just say number 1 is my mom, who's come out of the shower 5 minutes ago and is wearing perfume. And then number 70 is a taxi cab with a driver who smokes, hasn't bathed since last Tuesday, and has a weird kind of air freshener. I have a trick for trying to not inhale whatever the smell is. I can, well, it's only for when I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, but I can make my own gas mask. Again, I'm a vegetarian, but that's only one, I'm only one on the scale. There is a scale. It starts with people who just eat raw food, and well, basically you just die. People who are vegans, vegetarians, people who are pescatarians. Well, if you don't know, it's supposed to be a person who's on a vegetarian diet, but has the occasional fish or meat. And, well, most people call them, well, vegans call them lying evil traitors, but we call them flexitarians. Then it's just, normal adjusted people who don't think it's a federal crime to have a cheeseburger every once in a while. So, I cheat sometimes when I'm a vegetarian, and there are people who are vegetarians and they eat meat, and that's a thing.
Okay, give it up for Alice. All right, awesome. Cool. Yeah, vegetarians and stuff, that's a whole crazy world of dieting and stuff.
Wait, are we doing comedy routines?
Yes. We are doing stand-up. It is an open mic. Speaking of which, our next stand-up comic is Giselle. Give it up for Giselle, everybody.
Yay. Okay, so quarantine is boring. Like, I mean, really, really boring. Like, I mean, sometimes you just have to stare at the wall to entertain yourself. And, you know, while you're staring at the wall, you start thinking about stuff. So, one time I was thinking about a trip I took about 2 or 3 years ago when I was about 11 or 12. I went to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, for a vacation during maybe about like June, July. We usually take vacations just to like to visit family. You know, we'll hang out with them and go to the beach. You know, it's pretty cool. However, going in June and July is a bit of a problem because it's winter there. So you don't get to do a lot of stuff. You can't go to the pool, you can't go to the beach. The things you can do though is that you can take a walk, you can go to the mall, you know, you can stay inside, listen to music. But on one afternoon, I've done all of that and I'm starting to get pretty bored. So I thought, why don't I talk to my grandma, Vova Maya? So I started talking to her. You know, we started chatting a little bit about what was going on in my life, like what was going on at school, and with my friends, because my friends had some interests that kind of conflicted with mine. So I was telling her, like, you know what, maybe I should just kind of follow their interests, but it wasn't that big of a deal. However, Vova Maya thought that was a pretty big deal. So then she said, wait there. Why don't you come upstairs with me and we'll go read a book so we can solve this problem? And I thought, wow, I'm excited to read a book. So then we went upstairs to her bedroom and she was telling me about the book. So it's called Maria não vai com as outras, which means Maria vai com as outras, which means Maria goes with the others. So it's basically about this sheep, and her name is Maria, and she just kind of follows her friends around. So I thought, that'll be great. You know, I've read a few Portuguese books before, and I think I can read this one. Sounds pretty interesting. So we went upstairs in her bedroom. She looked at her bookshelf, and then she picked up the book, and I was shocked. This wasn't just like a regular book, you know, like something that would appeal to 11 or 12-year-olds. It was a children's book for 5-year-olds. And she was recommending this to me. And of course, as a little like 12-year-old, you know, I didn't want to read that. You know, that sounded boring. But, you know, I didn't want to offend my grandma because she had really good intentions. So she said, let's read it. And I said, okay. So then we sat down on her rocking chair and she started to open it and read it. Era uma vez, uma velha chamada Maria. And, you know, she was just kind of reading it through. And while she was reading through it, she asked if I knew some of the words in Portuguese, because my Portuguese isn't really that good. But no matter if I knew it or not, I just said, yeah, sure, I know that, because I wanted to go through this but as quickly as possible. And when we finished reading the book, I came to the conclusion that this book was stupid. It was stupid and boring. So first of all, the drawings are awful. Like, it's basically if you drew a little cloud and you put a face on it, yeah, those are all the sheep in there. I don't know, it just disgusts me for some reason. And then you have the plot. The plot was like whack. So you have this sheep, her name is Maria, okay? And then she's following her friends around. Her friends go to the North Pole. The North Pole without any scarves, without any clothes or anything. And then obviously she's gonna get cold, right? but she just keeps on going because, like, she's Maria, and apparently she's too dumb to know how to protect herself from hypothermia. And then the friends do more stupid stuff, and she goes, just like kind of follows them until, and this is the stupidest part of the book, in the end, where her friends jump off the Corcovado. Now, the Corcovado is a mountain in which Christ the Redeemer is in Rio. So yeah, her friends are basically jumping off of that. Somehow none of them got killed. So yeah, they were jumping off of that. And finally, Maria had the sanity to not jump off a freaking mountain. Yeah, and then my grandma closed the book and she said, did you like it? Did you learn anything from it? And of course, I already knew everything, I get what the book was trying to say. So I just said, yeah, sure. So the moral of the story is that be careful what you say around people, not because it's gonna offend them or anything, just because they might bring out a book about this stupid sheep named Maria and how she follows her friends around. Okay, the end. That's it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. That was great. I don't know how to English, so we are just going to move on to the next stand-up comic, and that is Zach. Give it up for Zach, everybody.
Hello, I am Zach. So every Saturday, every day of the week, me and my dad, we go on a fishing trip. And this may sound fun, but trust me, it's not that fun. So in the morning, we have to wake up at 3 a.m. Yes. So after I've put on my clothes, I have to go downstairs, and that is not fun at 3 in the morning. So after I get downstairs, it takes a while, I make my breakfast, and I meet my dad. We start laughing because it's so early in the morning, but we can't wake up my mom because she's the normal person trying to sleep. While we're clattering in the kitchen and flushing the toilets, what normal people do at 3 in the morning. After we're ready, we start to pack the car. Once we've packed the car completely, we drive out 45 minutes to Henry Hagg Lake. Now, in the morning, this lake is amazing, but once it goes to 12 to 1, it's not good for fishing. There's parties, and me and my dad were fishing there, and this little girl went into the water and she started oh my god, it's so warm! Whoa! Warmest lake we've ever been to, yeah! But so that was not fun because we caught nothing. But then the next time we went, once again waking up at 3 a.m., we actually did catch fish, but they weren't big enough. So yes, it was very warm for some weird reason. But so we did catch fish, but sometimes they would be fighting so hard and the hook would get trapped down in their stomach. So they would die, which is very sad. I don't like it. I don't like killing fish or animals for no apparent reason. But when they died, we would still set them back in the water because we don't want to leave dead fish on the shore. But then these big osprey, they were circling the lake. And when they saw a dead fish floating on the top of the water, they would, in my dad's own words, they would and they would grab the fish in their talons and fly away with it. Now this might be fun to watch, but when they're 5 yards away from you, it is scary. like the force that they pick up the fish with, it creates like a mini tidal wave. But when we got back, he told my mom the story, and her face, it's like, I don't know, like 9 in the morning, because we left at 8, and then it's 9, and my mom, she was trying to sleep in because we weren't at the house, and she was like, what, you caught fish? I can't wait. It's like, no, they weren't big enough. And yeah, that's my time, so thank you for listening.
All right, give it up for Zach, everybody. But muted version, or like click the clap, whatever. Anyway, Zoom is weird. Our next stand-up comic is Tamsin. Give it up for Tamsin, everybody.
Hi. One sec. Okay, so this is the story of how my family has a tradition. Every other year for summer vacation, we'll go to the beach for 2 weeks. This isn't just my family, like my 4-person family, mom, dad, and my little sister and me. This is like not my entire family, but my entire dad's side of the family. Besides the people who are dead. It would be weird if dead people were at a beach party thing. Anyway, so yeah. Sorry. I'm not good at speaking. I mean, I talk a lot, like a lot, but I'm not good at like speaking. Anyway, but okay, so yeah, we have little family traditions at the beach. Okay, so yeah, we have family traditions at the beach, and one of the family's tradition is called transportation, and so when I was 5, I'd take a random pool noodle, and I'd always bring it around the pool with me, and I'd just keep dragging around the pool. Eventually, someone grabbed onto it, and I was just pulling them around the pool for a little while. Eventually, once I'd pulled them around the pool for a little while, they said it's my own mode of transportation. And eventually, someone called it transportation, and the name has stuck ever since, and that is transportation. Every year at the beach, I'll just drag people around for anyway, also, another family tradition at the beach is a thing called Arf Arf treats. So it's more a me and the kids tradition than a everyone tradition, but still. So my aunt can't eat certain things, allergies and stuff, but one of the things she can eat is this one type of cereal. I can't even remember the type of cereal, but I do know there's this one type of cereal she can eat. And first time I tried it at the beach, I absolutely loved it. And one day she was eating by the pool. She had the box of cereal by the pool, and I said, "Can I have a piece of cereal?" And she said, "Well, first you have to do a trick." And I gave her a piece. Then I did a trick. And for no apparent reason, I said arf arf, like a seal. Because it reminded me of seals, like at the circus. I've never actually been to a circus. But, yeah. So I said arf arf. And then she threw a treat to me. And ever since, we've been calling it arf arf treats, and that's it. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, give it up for Tamsin. Cool. Awesome. So next up is Natasha. New but very cool and awesome and adjective.
So, okay. So now, can I use this packet like with something? Mr. Wall, can I
Yeah.
use this packet?
Yeah, go ahead. Say whatever you want to say.
What?
Yeah, go ahead. What you've been doing all week is great. Remember what I said. Just don't say. Just do the routine. Don't repeat what's on the word. Don't repeat the worksheet words.
Okay.
Cool.
So one time at home, I called my friend. She said she was busy. This was like some story about my friend would have, like how she was acting weird. So I called her like several times, but she didn't pick up. And then like the next day, she calls me back. I pick up, but I just don't want to pick it up because she's just not picking up the call. So then I decided to just pick up her call, and then I said I tried calling you, and then she's finding some excuse, like saying, my iPad was on silent, so I couldn't pick up the call. But then what I did, I said, there are 6 people in your family, and you live in such a small house, apartment. How can they not see that? How can you not, any one of them not know that your iPad is not ringing? She just changed the topic. She said, want to come over today? I said no. So I tried to switch the topic to something else because I was feeling pretty cranky because she didn't pick up my call. 5 times I called her. And then I just leave the phone, I just cut out, and then the next time she called me, she said she's going swimming during quarantine. I said, sure, we can go swimming during quarantine in the public swimming pool. Then I decide I got scared to go swimming during quarantine, so I just changed my mind. Actually, I didn't change my mind. So then we didn't go swimming, but my friend prepared this dramatic song where she put a sad music, like the world's saddest music she played, and she was doing this dramatic dance on the floor, pleasing me, telling that chlorine killed the coronavirus, and then she's saying she's doing this dramatic dance, and then she starts rolling on the floor, lying and pointing on me. And then I'll say I'm bad at singing the song because it's a music played on the piano, or it's some sad music. And then she's like, then It's like and then she keeps on rolling on the floor and pointing at me. She says she goes swimming in that public swimming pool like 10 times every single week. And like I still don't listen. And I just say, and anyways, I still want to go swimming because it's super hot. And she says, oh, it's super hot. And then we had 5 hours of that play date. We had 5 hours we were playing with each other. And 3 hours she wasted with pleasing me. Then later we finally were just watching like a movie. She said, let's watch Peppa Pig. And I'm like, I'm 11 years old. I don't watch that anymore. I know I still like Peppa Pig, but I don't watch it anymore. But I don't watch any cartoons anymore. I just watch what my parents watch, which is these movies, international movies, or these all sports game movies, like some type. So I watch that nowadays, whatever they watch. Before it was the other way around. My parents watched what I like when I used to like cartoons. And now she's switching the topic to some Hindi cartoons and all these cartoons, and she knows. She's trying to purposely annoy me by saying, we'll watch Hindi cartoons. I only know English. I'm trying. Like, my parents only never like taught me how to speak in different languages other than English. And then after that, she's like, let's watch Hindi cartoons. Very cool. And then I'm like, sure. Then later I try to switch it topic to other YouTube videos, like any non-cartoons. Then she's like, fine, let's watch Spy Kids. That I watched that a lot. I watched that more than 10 times, and she clearly knows that. She knows that, and she knows. At least Spy Kid is not like cartoons for me, but she just switched the topic into putting like annoying stuff, which I don't like anymore. And so that I just like stay there. And okay, that's a story of my annoying friend. Another story is, sorry, I thought I had to speak for like.
No, you're good. That was a perfect length. All right, give it up for Natasha. Cool. I'm just gonna say cool after every stand-up thing, apparently. So next up we have, I forgot to warn him, but next up we have Trey. So
Hello. So I remember I used to live in Florida, and I moved away because it was just crazy town. Like one time. So, I mean, well, first I should explain this. So, I have hair problems, and I always have to take baths to shampoo my hair, or else I get dandruff. Now, one day, I was going to get a haircut, but apparently, before I got there, 3 guys came, 3 masked men. They came in, broke in, and took all the shampoo. Now what am I supposed to do? Eat my own dandruff? I mean, come on. Like, what else am I going to do about dandruff? I'm going to have to, like, rip it out and eat it. This sucks. That's all I had to say. All right.
Okay, give it up for Trey, everyone. Short but sweet, or short and sweet, whatever it was. Yeah, cool, awesome. Well, that was faster than expected. So, next up is Ben. Give it up for Ben, everybody. See that I'm slowly losing energy.
Sorry, give me a second. Just gotta. My computer's a bit. Just pull this up. Okay, sorry. Hi, my name is Ben, and here's a little tidbit. Unlike most of you, I'm from Canada. Wait, sorry. That sounds mean. I did not mean to exclude you. I apologize. But here in Canada, we all are obsessed with apologies, even for the smallest things. Walk in front of someone, apology. A person doesn't like the movie you picked, apology. And a person breaks into your house and steals your TV, apologize it for being too heavy and help him carry it. But we do more than just apologize. Imagine this. 2 people with no experience in the wild being chased by an experienced cowboy. That's a reality TV show here, and it's called Manhunter. But if you don't find that weird, there's a book series here, and it's about cats living in the wild, and it does well with over 30 books in the series, and it's got so much world building, you could probably write your own fan fiction. And if it isn't with the main characters, then it's pretty much canon. And it's a bit funny because the book has characters and they're all super evil, but at the same time they're cats, and they're very cute if you Google them. So in the real world, let's say you just found a nice stray and you're petting it, you're probably petting a fascist. You just gave Animal Stalin a belly rub. But this never crossed the mind of me and my group of friends. During breaks at schools, we'd all run down to the field and pretend to be these characters. Yes, we were part-time furries. But wait, it gets better. But before I explain the rest, let me go into detail. There's a leader, a deputy, a doctor, and then everyone else. And everyone was divided into these things called clans, and there was 2. And the one I was in had everyone, and the other one only had 1. But over the course of the month, my clan lost members to the other one, and I was the last one. So I had to go claim my leadership, where you have to go pretend to do some dreaming, which for some reason I did vigorously, and I spent 17 minutes doing that. But after I got my 9 lives, I had to go back to my territory and I had to walk past the other clan, and they killed me and I only had 8 or something. But once we had to go back to classes, everyone forgot about it because it was just a game. But for some reason, I was so obsessed that I somehow was still upset about it. I was so upset that I didn't talk to anyone for the rest of the day. Life in Canada is confusing, but it's not as confusing as the internet. So the actor for the child version of Anakin Skywalker was bullied by fans who hated the prequels, and later on he got arrested for a high-speed drive and he crashed. And I learned about this on a post talking about how Toy Story 4 should have been about Woody before he was with Andy, as he's an old toy and was probably around for years before he was living with Andy. But anyway, so this person was talking about how the actor he was basically talking about how the fandom pretty much ruined his life, and then after that he got a reply, and it made me think about the duality of the internet, and the reply went something like, he was born to be a pod racer. Thank you, I'll be here for another 17 minutes before I gotta go. Ironically, just the same amount of time as I spent pretending to dream about gods and other cats.
That was an interesting closer, but all right, give it up for Ben. Here we go. 4 more people. Okay, next up is Emery. Give it up for Emery, everybody. Woo! Everybody.
So we go to this place every year called Martha's Vineyard, and so one year we went, and we went with my friend's family and my friend, and so on the second to last day, we were in this shop, and then my friend's brother and her mom and my dad were all sitting in an area near there, and they were playing cornhole, and my friend's brother threw it into some dog poop by accident, but he didn't want to pick it up and move it because it was in dog poop. So the next people who came, they didn't know that it was in dog poop. So the girl picks all of them, and she hugs them to her chest like this. And then she could tell that something was up because she lifts her hand and goes, when my friend's mom was talking, my dad was
cracking up, and whoever wasn't talking to the people was cracking up. And then my friend's brother, since they were laughing, he just ran away laughing. And then they followed up, like, them into the stores and stuff, and then they kept yelling at them. They're like, why wouldn't you tell us why wouldn't you tell us that there was dog poop on it? And my dad and my mom and my friend's mom, they were all like in their head, they were just like, don't hug beanbags that you found on the ground to your chest. And speaking of Martha's Vineyard, our vacation, so we were in the water and we were swimming, and then I went like deeper because my sister and my friend's brother were like looking on the rocks, and they were like, oh, there's a crab. So me and my friend went over to look, and then my friend steps on it, almost slips down, and goes, oh, be careful, you don't want to go up there, the rocks are really slippery. And I looked at her and I said, I'll be fine, it's not that slippery, it can't be. So I step on, the second I say it, I just go sliding off, and I'm so deep that I can't stand, so I'm holding on to like algae that's like latched onto the rocks. And like the whole time I was just thinking, I shouldn't have stepped on those rocks, because it like cut something in my toe. So whenever I'd walk, and it would, like, I was wearing Crocs because like I didn't want to wear, like, because I only had like Crocs, I didn't really have flip-flops, so, and I didn't want to wear like sneakers and stuff, and so I was the sand was getting into my shoe, and the whole time I was just stepping, going ow, 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 ow. And a few years before that, when we went to Martha's Vineyard, we were going kayaking because you can rent a kayak. And so me and my mom shared a kayak, and then my dad and my sister shared a kayak. And so they were just about to start, because like there was like instructors, so like if you were doing something wrong, you wouldn't get hurt or whatever. And my dad was just about to start, and then he's like, and we're already like halfway across, and he's like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. He starts like shaking and like pushing it and stuff, and then he flips it, and my sister's like, oh, come on, because she wanted to go kayaking, and then they ended up going to this beach, and then like my dad was like, well, I guess it's worth it. And now every time if we go to Martha's Vineyard, my sister's like, if we're going kayaking, I call going with mom.
All right, give it up for Anne-Marie. Next up we have Riley. So yeah, Riley, come on up here. Hope you're at your computer because you didn't respond.
Okay. Hey. Oh, it's weird to see myself big. So I recently went in for an MRI for the first time ever, and the mornings already started off terrible because the second I got in there, they made me chug 2 huge bottles of like this weird like drink that was supposed to help you, and it basically tasted like flat Sprite with cough medicine in it. So that was great. So I chugged the last bit of it, and then gagging, they took me into the MRI room, and there's 2 big parts of an MRI. There's the music that they play, since the machine is really loud, and then there's the like the breathing part, because you have to hold your breath. So maybe I should just. Okay. So And I was doing the first breath holding, and I was already kind of confused because I like wasn't sure how I was exactly supposed to do it, and it didn't help the fact that there was a song playing overhead that was singing "Just Breathe" while I was trying to not breathe. So that was interesting. And then later on, later on, I had gotten used to the breathing, and you all probably know the song Savage. So it was about to get to, like the TikTok part that everyone knows. And it was like, and then it said, hold your breath. And it was like, because I was about to do the dance and everything. Then it was just like, hold your breath. So, yeah. And then another funny thing that happened is apparently they were using Spotify, because every once in a while it would be like thank you for choosing Spotify. If you would like to have a 30-day trial to listen to ad-free listening, I'm like, you're like a huge hospital. It's not like some tiny place or anything. Why can't you pay for a Spotify membership? So that's all I got.
All right, give it up for Riley. Wow, hospitals these days can't even get Spotify Premium. Capitalism. Okay, that's too many capitalism jokes for one MC. And next up we have Justin. Yeah, second to last. Kind of. Anyway, Justin, give it up for Justin. Yeah.
Yay. All right, so over the weekend, I went on vacation to Hershey Park, and you might be thinking, oh, wow, why are you making improv on this? It sounds so nice. Oh, I'd love to go on vacation. During COVID-19, it is like hell. Now, here's why. I have two reasons. One, because it's really hot. You're in the hot sun all day with a bunch of metal things around you, so you're like probably touching one of them, just leaning on the wall, trying to catch your breath, and then getting more hot, getting burned on your hand, along with this hot mask on you. And number two, the mask is torturous. It's itchy. You don't want to wear it, and they force you to wear it all day. And if you take it off, there's going to be some Karen security guard going like, no, 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 stop it, don't touch me. 6 feet, come on, guys. Anyway, so the vacation started off nice. We got on this long car ride, but I had my phone to entertain me. We got to the hotel. We had to wear a mask in there, but it makes sense because you're in an air-conditioned, enclosed building, so it makes sense to wear it there. And then when you get to your room, you could take it off, so it's not that bad. But when you get into the park, now let me tell you, it's a whole different story. So do you guys know the sloth at the DMV scene in Zootopia? Yeah, that's kind of how this first day went. So we were over there trying to get our tickets, okay? And the people working these computers that print out the tickets were like 85 years old. I think their names were Gertie and Martha. I don't know. Gertie and Martha. Let's call them Gertie and Martha. Now, Gertie and Martha, they didn't know the first thing about computers. Like they're over here with a gaming computer and a gaming mouse, and they're like they have never used a freaking Windows 7 before. Like they've never even seen one before, and they're over here working this. But as soon as we get our tickets, which took an hour and a half, by the way, we got into the park at 7 o'clock, and we were planning on getting like a few rides, like 4 rides or something, because each ride takes like 30 minutes between the lines, walking there, all that good stuff. But we ended up having 30 minutes, and guess what happened when we went into the park? It started to thunder, and there was only one ride worth riding in the park that you can go on there during this thunderstorm. And it happened to be in the very back of the park. And if you've been to Hershey Park, you know that it's not like a giant wide park. It's like one long road that you take down there. So it's like the longest it could be. And the ride was good. But like, here's the thing about the ride. It's an indoor ride, okay? And indoor rides typically have indoor queues as well. And you know what happens when you have an indoor queue? You have a mask on, right, guys? Yeah. And the funny thing about this queue is that it didn't have air conditioning. It was so torturous, guys. It was horrible. And then when we got back to the hotel, we went to this Italian restaurant. Oh, so fancy. Meanwhile, I'm wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants. Oh, so fancy. This food took an hour to get there, guys, but it was good. It was good. Don't get me wrong. There were some good parts of this vacation that I do want to mention. Not sponsored by Hershey Park, obviously, because I'm mentioning all these other things. But then the next day came, and let me tell you about this next day. You know the day starts off bad when the breakfast, they screw up a few eggs, guys. It took an hour to get these eggs, and they weren't even that good. They were like undercooked. We had to take them back, and it was a terrible morning. Until we got to the park, which, you know, it wasn't thundering, so good for that, right, guys? Yeah. And we got to ride some good rides, of course, with the downside of wearing this hot mask that I couldn't breathe in half the time, and if I took it off, you remember, guys, put the mask back on. Mr. Karen security guard, don't touch me, 6 feet, 6 feet. And then we got back to the resort, and we were hungry, okay? And we learned from the day prior that you don't want to eat out. It's going to take forever for your food, and we were starving. So we decided to get room service and then do something while we were waiting for the room service. And while we were waiting for the room service, what was it, you may ask? Well, there was a pool. And this pool was a pool. Like, it was just a pool, guys. Like, there's nothing special about it. Except for the fact that you had to reserve for a pool area. Like, have you ever been asked, did you make a reservation for the pool area, sir? Like, really? Okay. But while we were waiting for our reservation, they pointed us over at this golfing section, and we're like, you know, it's a golfing section. How bad can it be? But once we got to the golfing section, do you want to know what they told us? They told us, sorry, you have to reserve the golfing section, but we're all booked up. So while you're waiting, why don't you take a dip in the pool? So we ended up sitting on some chairs that were like by these big trees with a bunch of bugs on them. This one bee just kept following me. It was like doing the Macarena in front of me. It was like, stop it, you're a bug. Get away from me. But once we got into the pool area, you'd think it'd just be paradise. Like, oh, you have to reserve the pool area. So few people there were like 300 kids in the pool. It was like 60% urine, 40% actual water. It was disgusting. Now, there was a hot tub. There was a hot tub somewhere, but guess where it was? It was in the adult section, and you can't go in the adult section if you're not able to drink, which means that you're over the age of 21 to get in there. I personally think, if you're old enough to make an order at like a restaurant without crying, then I think you should be allowed into the pool area. But anyway, the third day was probably the best day of them all, but that's not saying much, guys. It wasn't that good because you still had to wear the mask, because if you took the mask off, what have you guys learned? Yeah, exactly. Mr. Karen security guard comes over, touches you. Hey, don't touch me, 6 feet, put the mask back on. Oh my God, it was like we got to ride the rides, but of course with the downside of wearing this hot, uncomfortable, non-breathable mask. And that was my vacation to Hershey Park, and we are going to go back there next summer. So wish us luck. That's my time.
All right, give it up for Justin. Good luck, man. That sounds whack. Finally, who says finally? Anyways, last but not least, we have the one, the only, corn on the cob, cornbread Casper. She is known by many names, Carolyn.
Yes, it's true. I am known by many names. So anyway, bathrooms. I don't like public bathrooms, okay? They stink. Literally and figuratively, okay? Like, I like to be alone when I'm doing my business, okay? Like, when, like, people go in there, like, it just makes me cringe, like, on the inside. Like, I just know that, like, I have to, like, wait until they're gone. I know it sounds weird, but, like the sound of, like, when someone's peeing, like, it's kind of, it's more normal because, like, I don't know, you hear like water pouring sometimes and it kind of sounds like that. But the other one is gross. Okay, and let's say you go in there with a friend for some reason. I don't know. I mean, whatever. Like your whole and like we just had Taco Bell. Your whole relationship is ruined. All right, like if you've been like best friends for 5 years or like friends for 2 months, like if you use the same bathroom, you're not gonna speak again for like weeks. All right, like. Why have there not been soundproof stalls? All right, I would be first in line to buy one, but it would be kind of hard to take it home. But I'd do it anyway. All right, like I would just load it up onto my car, and like that would be it. And I would never have to deal with this. We should just put them in every park, and we never have to be awkward in the bathroom again. All right. Like no one wants or needs to hear what I'm doing. And I sure as heck don't want or know what anyone else is doing. And like, it's worse when like you know each other based on shoes, but like you don't tell each other that you know each other, but like you know each other. But like, and like it just takes like one little like to just like ruin. It like just I'm just like getting flashbacks because like. It was not a fun time, like back at school, like when that would happen, there would be like people in there, and sometimes like other people, I imagine they wait for people to leave. So if I'm waiting for them to leave and they're waiting for me to leave, we're in this endless cycle of torture of not being able to use the bathroom. I'm so ashamed of myself. Why am I like this? Oh my god. Okay, ow. Actually, I've had a not great experience in the bathroom, and no, it wasn't just constipation. Okay, so I was at school. This was at school, and I'm just I'm in the stall. I managed to snag the big stall. No one else is in there. I'm just like doing whatever. And then these two girls come in, and I hear them talking. Like I'm like, okay, well. This is gonna get interesting. Like I hear them talking, like they don't sound like they're from my grade, but they also don't like sound like younger. So I think oh, bye Sam. So I think that they're probably older, right? They're probably older. And I hear them talking, they're like talking about, oh, what'd you get on this? Oh, whatever. Talking, we're gonna be in here so Carolyn can't use the bathroom. So I'm just like waiting for them to leave. And then I hear something on the other side of the stall, and it's like a banging, but it's not like loud. It's just like a little like sort of like scratch. I don't know. But it's on like the other side of the stall, and I haven't really been paying attention. So I think one of them went into the other stall, which is fine. I mean, it's the bathroom, so like I'm still just waiting. And then I notice that there's no one in the bathroom next to me. Like I don't see any feet. But they didn't leave the room because no one opened the door. So I realized that they have climbed onto the toilet, like over the stall. And like I'm sitting there because they're climbing and like coming over the stall, and they still have no idea I'm in there because I've tried my best to keep quiet because again, awkward. So basically I'm in this situation. She's like climbing over the stall, like I'm just like I'm waiting to be mortified, and like her friend is just like cheering her on, like, yes, queen, climb the stall, no one in there, you're gonna embarrass. And so she climbs over and she sees me, and the look on her face, she like, I don't know, like everything, like at one point she was just like smiling and laughing, and then it just turns into like I can see the like embarrassment radiating off of her face. Like we're just sort of caught in this like trance of mortification. All right. So we're just we stare at each other for like a couple seconds, and then she just like mumbles an apology and like slowly shimmies down the bathroom stall. And her friend, like, I can tell, like, through the stall, she's trying not to laugh because I hear her like muffled, like like it sounds like farts, but no. But I mean, like, so they leave. Good for me, because now I can finally use the bathroom. And so I get out of there, and I did not have a fun time. I wash my hands, toilet flushes, and I leave. And I haven't used a bathroom since. And yeah, so thank you. That's it. Bye.
Give it up for Carolyn, everybody. All right, what a great ending. It's 3 p.m., so I'm not gonna do my stand-up. But yeah, that was awesome. All right. I mean, it's 3 p.m., isn't it?
No, it's 3:06, but we can still do your stand-up real quick.
Do your stand-up.
Do it.
Come on, Mackenzie.
Do your stand-up.
Do
your stand-up.
I won't pressure you.
I know.
Give it up.
Do your
Oh my God.
stand-up now, little one.
Okay.
The win.
So, you know how a lot of people complain, especially on the internet nowadays with Instagram and everything. They're always like, "Oh my God, like I hate my body." I'm like, that's love yourself, like, but can't relate. I'm awesome. No, I'm kidding. But I think it's the opposite for me, where no, I don't hate my body. My body hates me. So, it does this awesome thing where sometimes I'll just be sitting, just vibing, like, bro, I'm literally just sitting here. And then all of a sudden my body's like, hey, what if we like randomly started spazzing and shaking for no reason? And I'm like, you know what? I actually don't want to do that. And my body's like, awesome, here we go. So, maybe you should probably get that checked out. But instead, I'm just going to talk about it in a stand-up routine because that's what we do here. And it's not limited to just random spazzing. Sometimes I feel like eating junk food, and then obviously that's not going to be good because then I'm going to feel gross afterwards. But, I don't just randomly decide, hey, you know what? I am going to eat junk food because I want to feel gross. No, you know why I decided I want to eat junk food? Because my body is telling me, hey, you know what would be really tasty and awesome right now? Some junk food. But then the second that I give it what it wants, it's like, wait a minute. No, I don't like this. This is gross, yucky, bad. And I'm like, okay. So I'm pretty sure my body is like 4 years old on the inside. Because it just doesn't make up its mind on what it wants. And then sometimes it'll be like, hey, let's eat healthy. Well, no, that'll be my brain, because my brain actually knows what it's doing sometimes. Sometimes. And I'll eat the healthy food, and my body's like, actually, this is yucky. I don't like this either. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You don't like healthy food, and you don't like bad food. Okay. Well, what if I'm not hungry? Then I'm just not going to eat. And then if I don't eat, then my body's like, no, you need to give me food. Otherwise, I'm going to make you uncomfortable, and I'm going to be loud and noisy and like whatever noise your body makes when it's hungry. And I'm like, make up your mind. What do you want? You don't. So sometimes it's the same thing for exercise, because I rarely exercise. Whoopsie, but I mean, who does nowadays? Especially during quarantine, all of us are just kind of sitting here all day. But sometimes I do try to exercise. Like recently, since I'm in Florida now, I went swimming for the first time in a while. And so I hopped in the pool, and I wasn't even doing that much. I was just kind of like floating around, moving my arms and stuff so I didn't drown, because I'm still too short to touch the bottom of the pool. That's another thing. My body refuses to grow. I am still not over 5 feet tall. I am 4'11", and I am so mad. And I think it's because the smaller something is, the angrier it is, because it has less space to contain the rage. So I am just a ball of condensed anger. And right now I am angry that I am a small ball of condensed anger. It's a never-ending cycle. all of it. It's just a never-ending cycle of terribleness. So, yeah, I was in a pool and I was just floating and just trying to swim, and then all of a sudden my body was like, nah, I hurt. This is bad. This hurted. And I'm like, awesome, but I'm trying to swim. I'm trying to enjoy myself. So maybe you could, I don't know, not just a little tiny suggestion. Maybe don't. Thanks. So yeah, it's really annoying. Thank you.
Give it up for Kenzie! Give it up for all your comments, everybody! Give